Hey guys, Chris here, founder of Rooted Music. Guys, at Rooted, our goal is to help you learn to play the music that you love by coaching you on the why and not just the what. And we're going to do just that in today's tutorial. But before we do, I'd love for you to subscribe to this channel here so you don't miss out on any of the new worship tutorials that we have for you. And I'd also love for you to check out the links in the description of this video where you can download our chord chart to this song for free, and also where you can learn more worship songs just like this for just $1 for the first 30 days. Check out those links and let's go ahead and dive into the video.
Hey everyone, this is JT with Rooted Music, here with you guys today for a quick little video covering how we invert chords. And so we're going to talk about chords just really quick, how to build them, but more importantly in this video we're going to talk about how do we invert chords, and number one, why do we need to invert chords, how we can use them to help us become more efficient piano players, and how we can get used to playing inversions on the piano. So let's go ahead and start. So you may have been playing piano for a couple years, you may be playing piano for 10 minutes, but inverting chords is something we're going to use in all skill levels of piano. So this is going to be really helpful for you as maybe you're trying to learn those first couple songs, or you've been playing songs for a while. So let's just go ahead and start by identifying what a chord is. So a chord is simply when we're playing more than one note at the same time on a piano. Generally, we play triads, or when we think of chords, we're playing triads, which are chords built of 3 notes. So you can see here on my screen, we're going to be playing our C major chord. This is probably the first chord that you've ever learned on the piano. And so every one of our triads, or chords of 3 notes, contains 3 important notes. We have the root, which is the namesake of the chord, or kind of the note that we're building the chord upon. So in the case of a C major chord, C is going to be the root. Then we have the third, which is the middle note of our chord. So in this case for C major, E is the third or the middle note. And we call it the third because it's 3 letters away from C. So if we count the letters on the piano, we have C, D, E in our interval. So that's why this is the third. And then the top note of our triad is G in the case of C major, but we call this the fifth. And it's called the fifth because C to G is the interval of a fifth. We have 5 letters total, C, D, E, F, G. And that's how we know that we have the fifth here at the top. So we have root, third, and fifth. So every triad is going to have a root, a third, and a fifth. I could play a G major chord, G, B, D, just like this, and it's still the same. So G would be the root, B is the third, D is the fifth. I could play a D major chord and have D is the root, F sharp's the third, A is the fifth. So every chord, every triad we play, no matter what notes we're starting on, is always going to have a root, it's always going to have a third, and it's always going to have a fifth. Great, so that's how we build chords. Now, when we're talking about inverting chords, what we are doing is we're playing, let's go back to C, we're playing the same chord, but we're playing these notes in a different order. So when I'm playing this C chord with the root as the lowest note in my right hand, we call that root position. So again, just remember, root's the lowest note in the right hand, it's root position. But what happens if I take this C and flip it up here and play my chord like this, C, E, and G? This is still a C chord because it's still C, E, G, just like I played down here. Same letters, but we're playing it in a different order, and this is what an inversion is. We've inverted our chord by moving the lowest note to make it now the highest note, and this is what we call first inversion, when the third of the chord, or the middle note of our chord or our triad, is the lowest note we're playing in the right hand. So this is first inversion. Now what would happen if I took this E and inverted it all the way up here? This is also still a C chord, but we call this second inversion now because G, or the fifth of the chord, is now the lowest note we're playing in our right hand. So we have root, third, and fifth, just like that. So you've probably heard maybe in some warm-up exercises, or maybe heard somebody play a piano, and they can kind of alternate between the inversions, like root position, first inversion, second inversion, just like that. These are all C chords. I could play, if I was playing off of a chord chart and wanted to play C, I could play it just like this. I could play it like this. I could play it like that. It would sound great. I could even take my root position and move like this G down to second inversion here, or first inversion here, or even root position down here as well. So I can play inversions all the way up and down the keyboard. And so playing inversions is really, really helpful in a lot of ways, and knowing inversions is going to help us as we're playing the piano. And here's the reason why. Is because why would we want to use inversions? That's great, that's cool, we can play all of these same notes in different positions, it's the same chord, but why would I practically want to use inversions? Well, using inversions helps me keep my right hand when I'm playing chords in the same general area of the piano. So for example, I like to play when I'm playing by myself and playing chords or playing a song, I like to keep my right hand in the middle C region of the piano and a little lower. I generally try not to let my right hand get higher than this G above middle C, and I really like to keep it in this range right here with my left hand playing a couple notes, like an octave of the root note down here just to kind of round out the sound. So like my C major chord, I could play it like this. But by learning inversions, it actually helps us play a lot more efficiently. So let me show you really quick. So if I'm playing a song in the key of C and my chord progression is F, C, and then G, just like that, I can use an inversion so my right hand doesn't have to hop here, here, here. What I can do is play F like this in root position. Then I could play my C chord in second inversion. So my hand doesn't have to move from here to here. My hand only moves from here to here, which is significantly less movement and a lot more efficient. And then to get from this C to the G, I have a common note here. So I can just go G, just like that. So one more time, this is me playing without the inversions. F, C, G, just like that. But now adding inversions, I can go F, C, G. And I even could hold this G down if I wanted to between C and G, because it's a common note between those chords. So that's why playing inversions is so beneficial and helpful to us, especially if I'm a piano player and I'm singing as well, like maybe in a service or I'm at a concert or something like that, and I'm singing while I'm playing. Or even if I'm just at home jamming and I want to sing my favorite song as I'm playing the piano, being able to play inversions makes it so I don't have to be staring at my hands the entire time because I can really feel out where I'm at. So believe it or not, by playing this F, C, G, just like that, I can fit those three chords in the span of a seventh right here, which is really cool. Again, my hand doesn't have to move any lower than F or any higher than E, and I can play three chords and fit them in. Even if I want to add more chords like an A minor, I could do the same thing here, or a D minor in the key of C. I could play every chord in the key of C within this span right here, which is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and do that just to show you with inversions how I could play every chord in the key of C. So here's C, here's D minor, here's E minor, here's F, G, A minor, I got a B diminished, and then a C, just like that. I played the C scale in chords, and again, my hands did not move from F to E. And so that's why playing inversions with chords can be very helpful to us as musicians, because it really just helps us keep our hands in a central spot on the piano, and it makes it just a lot more efficient as we play. All right, so you just saw me play through this scale of the key of C in chords, and I inverted them to keep my hand in the same spot. But there's one thing I want to mention really quick too, is that inversions don't only apply to major chords, but they apply to every single chord that we could ever play. It applies to minor chords. Like for example, if I took an A minor, I could play A is the root, C is the third, E is the fifth. I could take the A up here. There's first inversion, move the C up here. Second inversion, again, it's the same notes, A, C, E, just playing them in a different order. So it works for minor chords. I could take a seventh chord and also do that. So for example, here's a like a C major 7 chord. Sometimes when we play maybe songs that are more in a jazz style, or sometimes songs will have us play 7th chords as well, we can invert 7th chords as well. So just with the 7th chord, we simply have 4 notes now instead of 3, and we just add 1 extra inversion. So this is root position of the 7th chord. We can take the C up here. This is what we call first inversion because the third's on the bottom. Then we can move up to second inversion, fifth's on the bottom, and we can even take it up one more. We call this third inversion on a 7th chord because we have the 7th now is the lowest note. So we can do this with every type of chord, whether it's a augmented, diminished chord as well. We don't see those as much in music, but any chord, no matter what chords we're playing in any song, we can invert them and make it fit our hands in the positions on the piano that we want it to be. So to kind of finish this video up, here's an exercise that you can do to help you practice inversions and really get used to identifying them on the piano. So let's start with our C chord, and what you do is simply just play your inversions all the way up the piano. So you could start just by playing root position with your right hand, keep moving up all the octaves of the piano in root position, work your way up. Then I would switch to first inversion. So remember, we're going to move this C up here. So E, G, C. This is first inverted C chord. Play all your first inversions just like this. Move all the way up the keyboard, Just get used to visualizing that I'm looking for E, G, C instead of C, E, G in that order. Then you can go ahead and play second inversion. So G is on the bottom now, our fifth is on the bottom. Play all the second inversions, just like this, all the way up the piano, just like that, and get comfortable with that. And then you can go ahead and put it all together where you're inverting, or kind of like playing leapfrog all the way up the keyboard. So like root position, and you're just inverting. So it'd be root, first inversion, second inversion, root position, first inversion, second inversion, root position, first inversion, second inversion, root, first, second, all the way up. You're just inverting those notes, or kind of leapfrogging your way up the piano. And then you can try it with another chord. You could do it with an F chord. F, so here's F, root position, first inversion, second inversion, root, first, second, root, first, second, so on and so forth. You could do it with A minor, same thing. Root, first, second, root, first, second, root, first, second, and just work your way up the keyboard. And by doing that, that's going to help you specifically. You could even do it with both hands if you wanted to. Generally, when I'm playing in like the block chord style, just off of a chord chart, I'm playing most of the chord in my right hand. I like just adding the root notes here in the left hand. Just provides a little more of that low end, but you could practice with your left hand as well. And it's just building up that muscle memory on how to play these inversions and how to see them and visualize them on the piano. So we hope this video is helpful. We know that inversions is something that, as a beginning piano student, it can be a little hard to make sense of how to play them, but as long as you remember that it's the same notes that you're playing, no matter what order you're playing them in, and then you just make sure that you got those notes down and just can visualize, I got the root on the bottom, the third may be on the bottom, or the fifth may be on the bottom. That's going to help you visualize and get that experience to where you can see them and play them really well, because again, once you get those inversions down, it's really just going to help you stay in whatever regions of the piano you want and make your piano playing a lot more efficient. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. We hope you have a great day.
Guys, thanks so much for joining us today in this tutorial. I hope you really enjoyed it and learned a lot through it. Make sure to subscribe to our channel here so you don't miss any of the new tutorials we have coming up. And make sure to check out those links in the description of this video so you don't miss out on the chord chart and you don't miss out on more and more worship song coaching for just $1 for the first 30 days. Check out those links and we'll see you soon.